Good morning, students. Today, in lecture number 14, we are going to conclude Julius Caesar by William Shakespeare. In the previous lecture or lectures, we have discussed in detail the tragedy Julius Caesar along with acts and its respective scenes. Dear students, friends, this Julius Caesar is well known historical Roman tragedy. It very well highlights the involvements about the murder of Julius Caesar in those days. How we can say how the ambitious or greedy people involved in the murder of Julius Caesar, how they get succeed for some time, but finally they couldn't prove that they were right. So, the very speech of Mark Antony, means the very speech of Mark Antony after Decius Brutus took the turn to the, we can say, took the turn to the play, because when Julius Caesar was murdered by these conspirators led by Cassius, Brutus, Casca, Cinna, Trebonius, Caius, and so on, the number of conspirators come together under one plan, the plan of Julius Caesar's murder, and they can succeed proving to the public that they were right. They have killed the tyrant who was trying to destroy the democracy of Rome, the welfare of the people of Rome, the happiness of the Rome. And then they come to know that after the speech of Decius Brutus, the very noble men of the Rome, the people have decided to build the statue of Decius Brutus, the very noble man who has been struggling for the development, prosperity, welfare of the Rome. And people acclaimed Brutus for the death of Julius Caesar. But when Mark Antony requested Brutus and his fellows, conspirators, to speak some words about Julius Caesar, when Brutus granted permission to speak, at that time, this Mark Antony became succeed by converting the minds of the people towards Julius Caesar and against the conspirators. Being a well-known orator, whatever he said true. He said with proofs, witness. He has also shown the people of Rome the will of Julius Caesar, and which shows that he has nothing earned for his benefit, and even he has earned everything for the people of Rome. Even he has donated each and every his property for the people of Rome. So such will along with his sin shows that Caesar was not a tyrant. Even Mark Antony says that we have offered him The throne means the opportunity of becoming king, but he has rejected it many times. So, my dear people of Rome, so you tell me, being a judge, being a witness of this episode of the death of Julius Caesar, you simply watch the blood how it is poured, the innocent man fall on the ground. There is no fault of his own. So to kill a simple, innocent, ideal man of Rome, the number of people assembled together, gathered together for such villainous plan, and they can succeed in murdering them. But the fact is that he is not a tyrant. He is not anti-civilization or anti-humanity, but he is a well-known human being struggling for the welfare, prosperity, development, construction and happiness of each and every man of Rome. And at that time, the play takes the turn. The people who in the beginning acclaiming Brutus, they are roaring against the conspirators, though he may be Brutus, Cassius, or anyone. The people stand against the conspirators, and people, without any thought, without any plan, run behind the conspirators to kill them. When they run away, these people of Rome, when they come to know the reality of Julius Caesar's murder, that he is not a tyrant, he is a good man, he was a good man. But these people have killed him, saying that he was wrong, but in reality, Julius Caesar was good. A good, we can say, emperor, and he will again develop and lead the Rome towards better, ideal Rome. But these people have killed him, stopped his journey of welfare, prosperity. So the each and every people of Rome stands against the conspirators and stands with the side of Julius Caesar. So before the death of Julius Caesar, he was great, and after the death also he became great. So such great people's greatness, nobody stops. Nobody, we can say, finish them. And so, my dear friends, this way, the very speech of Mark Antony give a different turn to the play which the conspirators have not imagined, thought, or we can say they have never expressed such type of things will happen in future. Means this way the Julius Caesar proves, seems a very great man, and such great man's, noble man's, moral man's murder took place, means it is a tragedy. Means the poetic justice was not happened with them. Which play or which thing we call the tragedy means if such an innocent, moral, ideal, great man is killed without of his own fault, then it is considered as a tragedy. If any evil man, ambitious man, corrupt man murdered by someone, it is not considered. We just explain that he deserved that. उसके साथ ये होना ही था, we can simply say. But the same time, if any ideal man without any fault of his own is murdered or made to death, then we call it simply a tragedy. Though Julius Caesar was good, but the conspirators have killed him because they couldn't bear his goodness. They couldn't bear or tolerate his welfareness, civilization, his struggle, his morality, his goodness. They couldn't tolerate beer, so they have killed him. Because these people like Cassius, were the corrupt, ambitious, jealous, murderous men. And they think that if Julius Caesar was lived long, then nobody will give them respect because he was good imaged man, and in front of him, this we can say ambitious, greedy, or we can say the jealous man or jealousy couldn't stand. So this way, this is one turn the play took after the speech of Mark Antony, and the conspirators ran away. People have burned their houses. People have killed these people, whoever get them. And they have not only lost their houses, properties, but they have lost everything because they have killed the innocent moral ideal, the welfare of Rome, Julius Caesar. And they have killed him without of his any fault. So the wrongdoers have to admit to their tragedy, and that very well happened, took place by the very speech of Mark Antony. So, though Decius Brutus was a great orator, he delivers a very well planned, constructive, pre planned speech in front of the public to impress the people and to catch the attention of the people towards him, attention towards him. But the very speech of Mark Antony was very noble, superior, and impressive, which has influence on the people of Rome, and people took turn at the side of Mark Antony, and they have forgot what Brutus had said, and the very speech took the turn, and the conspirators who considered themselves as very talented one, their talent lost within a second, and people have never thought that this is a noble Decius Brutus, this is a great Cassius, but they have not thought about them, and they have turned into the very silent people, turned into the violent one, and now it became a public revenge, and public of Rome goes in search of these people for their murder, for their end. So this way, my dear friend, Julius Caesar was no doubt a great, brave, moral, ideal ruler, king, emperor, or simply a man, we can say. But these conspirators have killed such type of ideal man, and the death of Julius Caesar means the very death of the development, progress, prosperity, welfare, not only of the Rome, but each and every common man, common people of Rome. So this way, this particular play, beside this main incident of Decius Brutus' speech and the speech of Mark Antony, it also highlights on the issues like role of soliloquies, which also plays important role in the play. We in this play have seen the soliloquy of Decius Brutus, soliloquy of Portia, and also Brutus, Portia, Cassius, and so on. And what is the importance of soliloquies in the play, that also we will discuss in the next class. Then we have seen that the supernatural element of superstitions also plays an important role in the play, and the importance of such supernatural element or superstitions in those days were seriously followed, and what happens if one has not followed it, that very well play shown in the play Julius Caesar. So the role of soliloquies plays an important role in tragedy, that we will see what is in the inner mind of the character that is very well exposed by the way of soliloquies. So, soliloquies plays an important role, and beside the soliloquies, this play also highlights the another side of the superstitions or supernatural element. And this superstitious mind of Calpurnia, the wife of Julius Caesar, what she dreams that happens. So, what she has dreamed that the same happened. She has dreamed that her husband Julius Caesar will be murdered and his dead body will be hanged in the public place. The same happened when Julius Caesar has violated her request of not to go into the court. So the superstitious mind or supernatural things also plays the important role in the play that also we will discuss in the next class. Beside that, we also came across the issue theme stand on display, that is ambition, ambitious man, greedy man, corrupt man, we can simply say jealous man, and that is very well performed, led, acted by Cassius, the only man, the very leader of this conspiracy. Murder of Julius Caesar, the end of such a great emperor, that is, we have the Cassius, the very leader of this plan or the leader of conspirators. Conspirator is considered as a very corrupt, ambitious, greedy, jealous man, and Julius Caesar very well know that. Very well. Julius Caesar very well known about the very nature of Cassius, so he doesn't respect and respond him, and the very not response and not respect made Cassius go against Julius Caesar. But Julius Caesar, no doubt, was a great man. He had put aside such villainous, jealous, corrupt, ambitious, greedy men aside, because he has to run the Rome. He has to make the welfare of the people of Rome. So he has kept aside these people. That also we will see in the next lecture. My dear friends, with this brief information about Julius Caesar, I stop here. In the next class, we will discuss these 3-4 issues which stand on display. With this, I stop here. Thank you.